All right, welcome to another episode of the Couch Coaches podcast. And since we're here, I mean Sunday did not go very well for us Niners fans and people that were going for the Niners. Um, not I'm personally not happy at all. Was not happy on Sunday, and I actually woke up in the middle of the night Monday morning, more mad than I was when I went to bed Sunday night. So all I've been doing, honestly, besides work, is I am just listening to everybody's breakdown of their thoughts on how that all happened, and I feel like I'm in a good space to discuss it, even though the anger is still there. So I need to work on my anger, but it is 100% there. But Super Bowl recap, thoughts on the Super Bowl, brother Bill. I'm going to start with you. Thoughts.
Yeah, I would say three things. Defense wins championships. We talked last week about, it was going to be the Niners offense against Kansas City's defense and vice versa. Kansas City's offense against 49ers defense. This was not a Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. They're both quarterbacks, right? It's the offense and defense. And in the first half, the 49ers defense was controlling the game. In the second half, losing Dre Greenlaw was a huge blow to that defense, both for his speed and Travis Kelce wasn't getting anything in the first half. So losing Dre Greenlaw on the most freakish play I've ever seen, sidelines, but I don't know if he was about to go into the game, but whatever, jumped up and boom, blows out his Achilles. I could not believe it. The other thing that stood out was we said last week, I believe that the 49ers would need a cushion going into the fourth quarter, at least a possession, because that was when the game, I believe, if it was close, was going to be decided. And the Chiefs have Mahomes, they have Andy Reid, and the Niners don't, right? And so championship DNA showed itself in the second half. The other thing that stood out for me is how the running game for the 49ers, as we expected, Kansas City did what they were supposed to do, and that was to try to limit the 49ers running game. McCaffrey, I think, averaged not even 4 yards of play. He got, plenty of touches, but, Steve Spagnuolo's defense, they did their homework, limit the Niners running game. And then the passing game, the Chiefs just had their way in that fourth quarter. But I believe the game was decided in the third quarter because of the 49ers' inability to really generate anything offensively. And even though Kansas City only got, I think, a field goal, I just believe that if the 49ers were going to try to pull away, they need to do it in the third quarter. Special teams, Moody missing that extra point. I'm talking to folks, that did not cost the 49ers the game. To me, the pivotal plays was the fact that Kansas City put the ball on the ground 5 times. The 49ers only recovered one of those. The 49ers put the both times they put the ball on the ground, they lost those. That muffed punt, Ray McCloud just following the ball. Don't try to pick up. It just irks me. I feel bad for players when they try to pick up a ball when all they need to do is fall on it. So, I mean, that's it. The 49ers had a small margin of error, I believe, going in, and it played itself out. I won't even talk about some of the coaching calls, but I just think in terms of execution, the Chiefs made more plays when they needed to than the 49ers did.
All right, brother James, you were the only one on here going for Kansas City, so hooray for you. What your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, it was one. It was a great game. Niner fans shouldn't feel anything bad about that game. You guys did show up. But Kansas City just, I'm not gonna say it's out coached, but they scored when they made plays when they was needed. Both teams turned the ball over a couple times. Some freak accidents, but Patrick Mahomes he's the truth. He definitely led his team when the rubber met the road. But my hat goes off to Purdy. Purdy was for a rookie quarterback. He was cool, calm, and collected. The situation and the fact of the matter that he was at the Super Bowl didn't bother him at all. He was the same like he was in the regular season. I just think that all in all, the Kansas City was a better team than the Niners. Because it's just if I could give a trophy to the second place team, I think the Niners would have got a trophy on that one. Because it was a battle. It was a battle of the will, and Kansas City's will was bigger in the fourth quarter.
All right, Deacon Greg, thoughts on the game?
Like, I agree with both of them. That it was a great game. Great game. I mean, and I ain't blaming it on either team. Far as you guys' defense showed up, Bill. You guys' defense was playing lights out. Your front four, they were getting there. They had Mahomes bottled up, and they had the running game bottled up. That game was going all the way down. But I will disagree with you, Bill. That extra point was crucial. That extra point made it a 3-point. Down with a 3-point score. If you guys had kept it at a 4-point score, Kansas City would have had to make touchdowns. They wouldn't have. A field goal kept getting them right back in it, and you guys kept. That's how I kept getting tied up all the way down, because they only needed a field goal to keep it tied up. That was crucial. That extra point.
Not at that moment in the game, though, because there was too much time. The way Kansas City was moving the ball, Niners already lost Dre Greenlaw. If knowing that they would have needed a touchdown, the way that played out, Mahomes, the way they were moving, I don't doubt that they wouldn't have been able to score a touchdown, because remember that drive where they kicked a game-time field goal, they were actually milking the clock towards the end of regulation. They had an opportunity to still score a touchdown. So I don't believe that at that point in the game that whether or not they needed to get a field goal to tie it at the end or even a touchdown to win it was the difference in the game.
It makes a lot of difference in your play calling at that point. They could between one and anytime they could tie it up with a field goal, that's not good. That's not good. But whenever they got to go for a touchdown, that makes a whole different ball game. And your defense was lights out. I don't care. You guys were playing that. It went all the way down to the wire. And McCaffrey, I would say on your running game, McCaffrey had 3.6 yards of carry. He ran for 80 yards and he caught for 80 yards. But I think you guys used him a little too much. You guys could have, kept him a little bit fresher. If you would have been switching him in and out and kept him a little fresher, you might have been able to do a little bit more in the running game. The tight end, they bottled you guys tight end up. He didn't get anything. I think he had like 2 catches or something like that.
He was hurt. Yeah, he got hurt in an injury when I didn't even realize on the play, his shoulder. So he was. I mean, they were already taking him away, but missing him in run blocking as well as in the passing game was another loss that I just didn't see until I heard about it after the game.
Yeah, I never saw McCaffrey take himself out of a game.
You see that when he stand up like that?
Y'all ran him so much till he said, I need some rest.
Yeah, he pulled himself out. And you guys, like I said, if you kept him a little bit fresher, he was running. He's a horse. He proved me wrong. I didn't think he was a horse like that. But Kansas City's defensive line was on him, and but he was, he got 80 yards out of the game, and then plus another 80 receiving. And then let's go to the overtime. That was your coach and his strategy in the overtime of taking that ball first. I don't know. He did his analytic thing, talking about get the ball on the three possessions and you get it the last. He ain't going 3 possessions.
Yeah. And he explained part of the reason why he took the ball first is because remember Kansas City had just marched down the field and scored the game time touchdown, and there were 3 guys for the Niners that went out. Lenore was hurt, and 2 of the guys were hurt, and so the concern was, defense was just on the field. You got guys who were hurt. Now you're going to put that same defense back out there against Mahomes and that offense. That offense goes down and scores a touchdown. And then you're up against it, trying to score a touchdown and stay in it against that defense.
But like
I don't disagree with the call to take the ball first.
Ooh, look, because like they said, you gave Mahomes, you gave him a 4-down situation all the way down the field. He knows what he has to do. They went for it on 4th down all the way down. If they'd have took the ball first and you guys would have got them stopped, I guarantee they would have been going for it on 4th and 1. They'd have kicked the field goal. That you can't give Mahomes 4 downs. You know,
Hindsight's 2020. The other thing that played into it was the fact that when the Niners had the ball in overtime, when it was 3rd and 4, and I don't know for the life of me why Chris Jones was unblocked on that play. The two things we said last week: you can't let Travis Kelce beat you, and you can't let Chris Jones take over the game. And Chris Jones on that play, that to me, I don't know if it was I don't know if that was a play call or a missed block, but that just couldn't happen. If the Niners score a touchdown and they win the game, we're not talking about all this. I don't think that taking the ball first was the issue. I think it just became a point where they had a smaller margin of error, and when it all came down to it, Kansas City made the coaching calls and made the plays when they needed to at the end of the game and in overtime.
whenever you got 4 downs to make a play to get a first down, you're playing with house money there, baby. I'm telling you. You're giving Patrick Mahomes 4 downs all the way down the field.
So what would happen? So what do you think would happen if the Niners had scored the touchdown in overtime first?
You'd have put pressure on Kansas City to come back. Even if they scored again, the game is still going on. It's not over.
And then they would have gone for 2 to win the game in overtime. I bet you.
Yeah,
I bet you Andy Reid would have gone for 2.
They said that, but would they have made it? They could try anything. Would they have made it? You guys,
I don't know, man.
I don't even think they would have went for it.
That last play looked pretty good.
They would have took some guts. They wouldn't have. I don't think they would have went for that to lose a win on one play. They probably would have took their chances to go extend the game. Let's keep playing.
Here's one thing. So one, I think with that extra point, I think that him missing that extra point allowed us to get into extra time with them, because I think what would have happened, because they had that play ready to go for when they needed it, whether it's a 2-point conversion, whether it's on the goal, like Andy Reid, because remember, he absolutely screwed the Eagles 2 times on that same play, which is also frustrating for me.
Corn dog
2 times corn dog last year against the Eagles twice. They had that play in their pocket, and I think if they were down and they couldn't kick a field goal, that's the play they run at the end instead of the field, because they were like on the 6-yard line, the 7-yard line or something. Like they would have just run that play and won the game. But and I do agree that our defense was completely gassed. Even with that long drive we put in overtime, they were still gassed even after that. So I think turning them right back on the field, granted, we would have known what we needed to do, which in hindsight obviously would be much better. My issue is 100% with Kyle. The way we came out in the third quarter, we went 3 and outs in a row. Our defense is playing better than they've played the entire season. We have completely shut them down in the first half. We start the second half with a interception. We are in the driver's seat, and Kyle, the offensive genius that goes in at halftime and re-schemes everything and whatever crap we've been hearing the whole time he's been the coach, comes out and does 3 and outs in a row. And when he's driving at the end, knowing that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are on the other sidelines, he has a chance to drive the field, score a touchdown, and end the Super Bowl. There is no coming back if they score a touchdown. Just the pressure and the time and all that stuff. And he gave them 2 minutes to get down the field and kick a field goal with their unbelievable field goal kicker that was dropped. They said he was dropping 70-yard field goals in pregame warmup. So the dude's going to hit from anywhere on the planet. And then coming out in overtime, knowing that or thinking that you have to score a touchdown or whatever. And the only reason we didn't go 3 and out on 3 terrible plays right away was because of a holding penalty.
Yep.
If he didn't get that holding penalty, we would have been 3 and out. To me, it's all Kyle. He has his system. He doesn't use his players correctly. He doesn't account for the main blocker coming through on plays that are necessary. He's using Debo. I'm listening to this guy yesterday talk about how he was talking about, so them using Debo on those one-on-ones that he was using that got blown up anyways, and Purdy didn't have the time. He was saying in spring training that that's not Debo. Debo's not that dude. He's not that wide receiver. He's the guy that catches the ball in space and makes magic happen and stuff and does all that stuff. He's not the dude that's going to catch one-on-one, and he keeps trying to use him in one-on-ones on these fade play, and then not blocking Chris Jones coming in to me this is all Kyle, and it drives me crazy because when I look at where he's failed in the Super Bowl, and I can't put everything on him for the Atlanta Super Bowl because the defense had to, give up a whole bunch of points for the Patriots to come back. But in that game, he couldn't figure out the right play calls to ice the game. When we're playing Kansas City last time, whatever, 4 years ago, he wasn't coming up with the right play calls to get us back in the game. In this, he's not calling the right play calls to come out of halftime. He's not calling the right play calls when the game is, if you put together this drive that you should have a 2-minute drive to win a Super Bowl that should be in your back pocket. And it's like,
Joe, let me ask you this question. When you guys get me with
So
this,
mad.
when you're talking about the play calls. Now, what play call do you think that he could have been calling? What
Okay.
give me something.
okay, this is the play call
Easy.
that gets the ball to the freaking playmakers. Because every other team gets the ball to the playmakers. We have 700 playmakers, and we're not getting the ball to the playmakers. We're getting the
Actually,
ball to Jennings. Jennings is an absolute stud. Jennings is number 3. Jennings is 3 on the depth chart. Ayuk is getting 2 little baby passes. Kittle's not getting anything. McCaffrey's getting the ball hand up. Like we have so many playmakers, and the play design. If you put these players on Kansas City's team with Reed and Mahomes, we would get absolutely. If we switched skill positions, we would have gotten killed.
and we have an athletic quarterback where when push comes to shove, even if you move Purdy around, what I surprised I didn't see was more rollouts with Purdy in the third quarter.
There's no rollouts ever.
They had a few to start. I guess my point is, to Joe's point, in the third quarter, okay, so you come out, you go 3 and out. But the next drive, you've got to I didn't see anything that the Niners did offensively that put the Kansas City's defense on their heels and made them guess. The Niners became predictable on first down, throw the ball on first down. Okay, you don't get much. Then a second down throw. And there was a point where even if you get 3 to 4 yards on first down, it opens up your playbook where you have options to still be able to run the ball. And in the 3 drives in the third quarter, even after the interception, when they had a short field, they went 3 and out. To me, that's the time where, as a play caller, you've got to think you've got to be aggressive. You have an opportunity to distance yourself in the game, and you go 3 and out. There was no jet sweep. You've got Ray. You've got
You guys need to throw that jet sweep out the window, especially with Debo.
That's getting played out.
My point is, they didn't do anything in the third quarter to keep Kansas City's defense off balance.
But what you guys just said, okay, you said, he came out and he threw 2 passes or whatever. Purdy is making his reads. When he comes to that line, you talking about he didn't use his weapons. Also, is it on Purdy that he's not? Mahomes is utilizing his weapons. He's making reads. He's throwing off schedule to different guys. That's on Purdy. He's the dang on quarterback. He gets up there. He got to make a play.
As a play caller, knowing that you've got, I think it's unrealistic to expect a second-year guy to be able to make off-script plays. He made.
So you're saying tell him to go up there and look for Ayuk. This plays to Ayuk. That don't work like that. You can't go up there and go tell him to go.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
When he give him pass, if it's a passing down or passing play, he got reads on all of them. He can read all those things. He got to make the play. The players got to make the play.
So my question is, because y'all spent all that money to try to win the Super Bowl with McCaffrey and all that. What they gonna do now? Are they gonna dismantle the team, or can y'all still afford all of them?
Well, so far we got installed as we have the highest percentage of we're supposed to win the Super Bowl next year, which makes me want to shoot myself.
And we did this year because that's just for all the gamblers. That to me, that's no indicator of it's a long season.
It's kind of, but it is they look at this monster roster, and we don't have any huge contracts up this year, but we have guys on their last year of their contract, which means there's got to be something. So we're not in a terrible situation yet, but if somebody gets antsy, like Ayuk or Jennings or something, like we could have an issue. But we basically have the whole team locked in for at least one more year.
But to answer James' question, if you look at the rest of the league, there are other teams. The Niners were fortunate, to me, that they had to play young teams in the playoffs, Green Bay and then Detroit, who their youth showed itself, and the 49ers took advantage of that. You can't expect that to happen every year. Remember 2012 when they went Super Bowl with, lost to the Ravens, and you think, hey, they do it again, and they got to go against Seattle. Seattle was the better team that year. No guarantees. So and other teams have film on them. The NFC West is going to be competitive again this year. So, there's a window of opportunity, yes, but I always believe that you just can't assume it's going to be as wide open the next year as it was the last year.
The thing that gets me, and I think this is the thing that gets Kyle, is Kyle has his offense, and his offense requires these types of players. And the league has slowly kind of everybody's using Kyle's offense. So it's not special anymore. So you've seen a team that's kind of running a similar offense, and you know what Kyle's going to run. And I think that's part of the issues. And I think that's what we saw in the first half of at least the playoff games, maybe not the Super Bowl, because I feel like we played better than the 10 points that we got. But teams could just shut us down. They were shutting down our defense and they were shutting down our offense in the first half. And to me, that's because they can plan for us. And if they can plan for us and we're predictable, we have superstars all over the team, and we were still able to be planned for enough that it wasn't working. And again, like, great point. Thank goodness we were playing inexperienced teams, because they puckered and we didn't. But if they were a team that wouldn't have puckered, we could have been out in the first round. And I know I'm too angry to be. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The good news is, in sports, you get to do it all over again the next year. Long season, you see what happens in the draft, you see what happens in free agency, and all 32 teams have a chance to win the championship. And depending on what happens at the start of the season and week by week, those chances are going to go, up or down. So you just have to let it play out.
Yep.
Even the Raiders have a chance next year.
See, there you go, Bill. You don't want to go there, son.
I've been. The Raiders have a chance. What do you want me to say? Y'all got no chance?
I said y'all got all teams got a chance. Even the Raiders.
Exactly. Come on, man.
You think the locker room?
Just take the dap and accept it. It's okay.
When they come in August, you think the locker room will still smell like Kansas City champagne?
You know what? I know what. One thing that really this is what got me mad, Brother James, is that Kansas City player that put that flag in the middle of the field, number 11. I got him circled. I know my team, the Raiders, got him circled. Hey, I'll tell you guys this, Niners, we'll get them back for you guys. We'll show you guys what to do.
Appreciate it.
Those guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, your defense is gonna play hard, because number 11. I don't know what he's doing.
Was that Scantling? What's his name? Was that a
guy that maybe won't even be on the team next year?
Yeah, with that flag, I kept playing it back. Who is this guy? Okay, number 11.
Schuster. He came from the Falcons.
He's gonna wish he'd have never done that.
This don't have no bounty on him. The Saints got in trouble for that.
Yeah, there'll be a bounty, but they're not going to record it and let anybody hear it. But there'll be one. All right, so football season is over, and even though it was a very sad ending for two of us, basketball season we're right in the middle of basketball season. So, Deacon Greg, I'm going to start with you on this one. You were, from the beginning last year, we started talking about basketball, you're like, Denver. And I poo-pooed them because we've seen Denver be good and then not do anything in the playoffs again. You're like, no, it's different this year. Their defense, their whatever. And you were 100% correct. So looking at the standings today, the top two in the East are the Celtics and the Cavs. The top two in the West are the Timberwolves and the Clippers. So are any of those four teams actual contenders realistically? And if not them, who do you see in the East and the West right now that you think has a shot of meeting in the finals?
Well, I'll start in the East, and I still, we know that the Bucks made all kind of changes. They fired a coach. They brought in Doc Rivers as the new coach. They've been having issues the whole season. The coach had a decent record, the coach they fired, but the defense, that was all out of sync and everything. So Doc Rivers was supposed to be his defensive genius, so they brought him in. And they're starting to get in sync now. They were losing. They lost like 5 in a row or something when he first got there. But they've been winning a couple in a row now, and I think they're trying to get it together. So in the East, it's going to be a battle between the Celtics and the Bucks. And I just cannot trust those Celtics for some reason. Jaylen Brown and Tatum, for some reason, in the big moments, it don't happen for them. So I would, if the Bucks really got themselves together and start playing, as a unit, defensively, especially, I would think that the Bucks will be coming out of the East. I would take the Bucks. The Cavs, they're trying to come, but I still think it's the Bucks. The West is a whole nother story. I was sold on the Nuggets last year. I'm not so sold on them this year. I mean, I see a lot of vulnerability in their team. A lot of, like I say, it's a copycat league or whatever. They figure guys out, and I think their team really, if Murray is really on, they're a whole different team. But Murray, he's a spurt type guy. He plays really well, superstar level, and then he comes down. Other night I was seeing, I think he only got 5 points or something like that. And so Denver, I don't see it. Clippers, everybody's putting their banking on the Clippers. I don't see that. The West is open, wide open, and believe it or not, the Warriors have gotten my attention lately. They won like 6 in a row. I don't know if they're championship contenders, but they're not dead in the water like I thought they were. So yeah, and then I'm a Laker fan, so I'm gonna have to throw a little bit of love that way. The Lakers have been going through. They won their little in-season tournament thing, and then I don't know what they did. They went on a hiatus, and then but lately, what I've been watching from them seriously is they're starting to play as a unit. That ball is starting. What gets me with the Lakers, what I hate about the Lakers, is that ball. LeBron James and Anthony Davis sucks the air out of the ball. They take it and they hold it forever, and then they try at the last minute. They want to throw it to a role player, and don't know what to do with it. But now they're starting to use the ball and throw it around, and everybody's getting shots and touches and things like that. So I would say, but just to say who would come out, I think coming out of the West right now. Whoo! The West is open. I can't even pick a team out of the West.
All right, Brother James, thoughts on teams that you see making it to the finals in the East and the West at this point? Come off of mute.
Like Dick and Greg said, the East, Milwaukee or Boston, the Cavs, they still got some cohesion to go through. They still trying to get to know each other. So that's not a deal. As far as the West, the Thunder's looking real good. But once again, that's a young team, and and so if I was gonna say that if the playoffs was tomorrow, I would have to probably pick the Lakers, with knowing that they are after All-Star game team anyway.
All right. So Lakers, you see kind of Lakers and Bucks?
Yeah.
Okay. Brother Bill, thoughts on teams coming out of the East and West if it were to end right now?
Coming out of the Eastern Conference Finals, I've got the Celtics against Milwaukee. Milwaukee takes it in the Eastern Conference Finals. Because the Celtics, while they have individual talent, they're still lacking that point guard to run the offense, and there's too much one-on-one with Jaylen Brown and Tatum in crunch time. That's why the Warriors beat them, even though I believe Boston had that team was more talented. In the West, Denver, I can't see any of the other teams in the West beating Denver in a series. They're the most complete team. They have the Joker, they have Jamal Murray, who is a true point guard, and they have enough defense, and they've got guys who can score. And who was the guy who came out of San Jose State? Greg, you called it. I didn't think he was really going to show up.
He came out of San Jose State. He came out of Midi High School.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, Midi in Arizona.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything to say that Denver can't repeat. So I just see Denver, and even if the Lakers get to the Western Conference Finals, they may win 1 or 2 games and not get swept like they did last year. I still see Denver coming out of the West and them repeating, barring injury, barring them falling apart like the Philadelphia Eagles did down the stretch. I just believe that they're the most complete team, and they're a playoff team that can just run it through the playoffs, even if it's a tough series.
So does anybody think that the Knicks are going to make any noise in the East? Nothing. Is it just because they're the Knicks or because of what you're seeing?
Well, they got right now they're dealing with injuries, right? Randall is out, and I think the Knicks are still missing a bona fide big man. They really don't. They don't have that. You know, when you go up against a Giannis, you know, and even Boston, the Knicks really can't match that. You know, they what is the point guard they got that's scoring Bronson or whatever his name is? He's
Jalen
Brunson.
Brunson, yeah.
yeah, he's like carrying their team right now. So I think they're a big man away from really contending.
And then any thoughts about like the Heat kind of coming out of nowhere again? Are they too old? Is that
The Heat are the Heat. They do the same thing. They make that run, and then they just can't get over the hump. You know.
what I'm saying? But they make the run. They get in. They barely get in, and they make a run.
Yeah, but they don't finish it.
How funny will it be if Doc goes up in a series 3-1 and then loses the series for like the 5th time? I will laugh when they got Doc. I was like, it felt the whole dynamic felt very weird. Granted, the defense not playing great, but you guys got Dame. That's you. I thought your defense was going to get better when you got Dame. No, it's gonna get worse. You didn't get him for his defense. You got him for his offense. And bringing in Doc is just, I feel like he's kind of shown. I mean, I feel like they're just hanging on the fact that he was able to take like that big 3 and have them like work together. I think he's still kind of riding off of that because I feel like he keeps showing you over and over again that he definitely has limitations as a coach. And I don't know if they're just hoping that like these guys are so big that he can get like the guys that are used to being ones on their respective teams working together to put together a championship run. But and not that I can see another team coming out besides Milwaukee, because I think Boston, for whatever reason, I think they still pucker too. I don't get it. I feel like they've been in the situation so many times that they would have kind of gotten past that. But whatever it is with I'm blanking, the main guy.
Jason Tatum.
Yeah, but Tatum, he's just like, he'll score 60 points and then he'll score 11 points. And you go, but how about we meet in the middle and you do that just every game?
Yeah, I think tonight he's going off. I seen the first half. He went off tonight. I don't know what he ended up with.
Okay. And then the West, yeah, I feel like the Lakers, if it was just a 1-game series, I feel like the Lakers could beat everybody in basketball. But man, you get those old rickety bones out there for a 7-game series. You get a couple of those, man. And LeBron is an absolute, just he's an absolute freak of nature. And the amount of time and money and resources and everything he spends on staying healthy at his age it's I mean, he's the Brady of basketball. I mean, it's awesome, but he's still 38, 39 years old. I mean, he's still an old dude. He's still playing like 39 minutes. I mean, he's on the court so much to carry the team that I can't see him having enough energy at the end. Like I could see them getting through a couple rounds. I could totally see Western Conference Finals. I could see all that, but man,
you guys got better eyes than me. I'm a diehard Laker fan. I don't see all that. Only I don't see him making that run like that unless it's got to be the role players.
Agreed. That's what I was going to say.
It has to be their role players. LeBron and Anthony Davis ain't going to carry him. They can't carry him. So that's what I said. And you've seen that game a couple weeks ago. LeBron and Anthony Davis sat out that game, and that's the game they beat the Knicks. They went and beat the Knicks in the Garden without LeBron and Anthony Davis. And those role players were scoring. I think what's his name? The point guard.
Austin Reeves.
Huh?
Austin Reeves.
Yeah, he had a career high, 32 points or something like that. And then even the other point guard, Russell. What? No, not is it Russell? Our point guard that we brought back. He's even starting to play, and it's going to take those guys and all the Vanderbilt playing good defense. I can't think of his name right now. He's half Asian guy. But yeah, all of those guys. Those are the guys that's going to make the Lakers a team. If they can't come together as a team and all those guys get confidence in their shooting and playmaking, it ain't going to happen. So they got some work to do.
Hachimura.
But that's what they're doing now.
Yeah, they look. Or they playing Detroit. They better do something tonight.
I love that. I love that none of us think that the Clippers are going to do anything because we've all seen those guys, except for Kawhi's an animal, but we've all seen those guys just take a poop in the playoffs once they get there. I love it. It's like, oh, they're playing as a team. Oh, they're so good. Oh, just wait. Yeah, we've seen all these dudes in the playoffs before, and we watched them all take a dump. So that's good. But we're gonna.
Well, I think it's just matchups. You know, it's just we want to talk about the 3 seasons, preseason, even that mid-season tournament. Lakers, come on, Laker fans. What did I say back then? Y'all enjoy your trophy because it's not going to happen in June. That mid-season, that was all about money. Enjoy it, but the real test is once you get into the postseason. Once you get into
We got two Warrior fans on here, and I haven't even heard you guys even mention those guys.
Warriors, if they even make the playoffs, I'll take that as accomplishment just because of who they are. I'm not disillusioned to think that they've got to get out of the play-in just so that it doesn't become a 2 one-and-done situations.
Yeah, Warriors need to.
They're playing pretty good. They might they might make it to the eighth seed or better.
Yeah. All right, guys, we are running out of time, but we are in a new gear now for Couch Coaches because football season is over, and there's gonna be topics that come up that we're definitely gonna discuss. Football, the draft's coming up. Once everybody kind of gets settled as far as coaching and everything, we'll discuss that. But we're on to basketball and maybe eventually baseball if anything interesting comes up. The Giants are terrible, so I don't think it's probably not going to be. But
hey, Niners, hold your heads up. You guys, you got there. I don't know when that's quest for what, Bill? What is that old faded out thing you got?
6.
If you're talking about quest for 6, we were 1 play away, a 4th down play from the quest being over.
It starts. We got it next year. But we are good. This is going to cut off. So thank you guys very much. See you guys next Tuesday.
All right, see ya.